Welcome to The Sign Off, the marketing podcast for marketing people who want to chat about marketing. Every 2 weeks, we'll be chatting about a topic and how brands are using it to see if we'll give it the sign off. I'm Liz Hawkins.
And I'm Lydia Jones. We've made marketing and now we teach marketing and are generally a little obsessed about marketing. So if you want to listen to two Gen Xers talk about marketing in today's crazy old world, stick around.
So we're back in 2025, the first one of the year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
The sign off is back.
It's only the 27th of January.
So what are we doing today? We are looking at marketing trends for 2025. What is everybody saying that we should be looking out for? What we should be doing? And then maybe if we're really joined up by the end of the year, we'll look back on this episode and see what happened.
That would be actually quite sensible to do, wouldn't it, Liz?
And maybe we can give each one a sign-off rather than just a sign-off for all of it.
Okay, yes. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. So if you're listening or watching and you agree or disagree on any of these points, we'd love to hear. So drop us an email or drop us a comment, like, share. Love it.
Please do.
Okay. So what's number one? What's our first trend that we're going to chat about?
Well, should we chat about video? Video is a kind of a catch-all term now, isn't it?
When people say video, immediately in my head it goes, video is the superstar.
Radio killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
As soon as somebody says video, it's like 1980s.
I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. No, okay, yes, video killed the radio star. Well, home taping killed music. That's another thing, isn't it?
It did, yeah.
And, you know, seemingly my entire career, everybody's been talking about the internet will kill TV and everything. Like, it doesn't.
I have to say, it's done a very good job with cinema, though.
I went to the cinema the other day.
Did you?
Oh, my God. Yeah, I went.
Were you on your own? The last 2 times I've been, it's literally like a handful of us.
Actually, I was on a date.
Oh.
Yeah, I was on a date. It was a rather delightful date, actually. We saw the Bob Dylan biopic.
Mm-hmm.
It's called... It's actually brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Timothy Chalamet. Or as Florence Pugh likes to call him, Timothy Chalamala Bing Bong, which I can't get out of my head, was amazing. Okay, this is not a film podcast, but let's just have a little bit of a wow. I was actually blown away. It was wonderful. And it was nice to be on a date as well. It's a bit of a stupid date to have a date. You can't actually talk,
in the
obviously.
Cinema. Yeah.
But we had a chat beforehand just to make sure we're not serial killers.
I am, because Nick's away this week, I am going to go and watch the Robbie Williams one, Better Man.
Oh, I quite like to see that too.
Yeah.
He's got something on Netflix, hasn't he?
So I have tickets to see Robbie Williams later on this year.
Ooh, that
Very
should be
excited
good.
about that.
Not Oasis though.
No, I queued for 7 hours, didn't get a ticket. They're dead to me. I'll just listen to the CD.
Okay. Just probably watch it on YouTube if it gets streamed.
I have to say, I'm still a little sceptical that Noel and...
He's got a divorce to pay for.
He's got a divorce to pay for, but I'm not a little bit sceptical that the two of them will actually get to a concert and stay on stage for the required hour and a half or 2 hours and play records and songs.
That's the whole vibe though, isn't it?
And
will they, won't they?
I'm not sure. So
anyway, video.
The Voyage to Total Video.
The Voyage to Total Video. So this is, we're just having a look at various trends report, and this comes from Kantar, just to kind of reference properly as we're proper academics. Yeah. And talking about smart TVs and broadcast TV and all the other options to watch pictures that move, I suppose. As an aside, there was a time when you're pitching to clients and everyone's getting like, if you work in a more quote-unquote traditional agency, then you pitch a TV script, right? And it's 30 seconds or whatever. And then you pitch a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And there was a bit of a tipping point where everybody got very nervous about calling it TV script because TV, you know, the whole headline, oh, TV's dead and dying or whatever. It's not. It's absolutely 100% not. But anyway, then we didn't call it TV script. We call it AV script. Trying to
audio-visual
camouflage it. But yeah, it looked exactly the same. It was 30 seconds normally, or maybe 20 seconds if they didn't have the media budget. Yeah. But anyway, that was just funny. So
No, I like it that
Video.
you're just reframing it for your audience. I think that's good.
Yeah, try to sneak it in there, making it sound more modern. But yeah, video. I mean, video is absolutely humongous. It's especially as like, you know, smartphones are so good now for most people that the quality is amazing. But I heard a stat the other day. Guess how many? Guess how much of YouTube is watched on a TV?
Ooh. I would say probably. I want to say low because I've never watched YouTube on telly, and I've always watched it on either a laptop or a phone or an iPad. But I can imagine that quite a few people do because there's so much programming on there now. So I want to say maybe 25-30%.
Double it and you're there. Yeah, baby.
60%.
No, it's 50.
Jeez.
50%. I probably need to fact check that, but I heard it on a podcast, so it must be true.
I would have never gone that high.
Yeah, it's massive. So actual watching on big screens, as in a television, is humongous because we're all smart TVs, right?
Yeah, I was about to say that must be driven by smart TV.
But yeah, I'm like you.
You don't have to license for it either.
You don't have to pay a TV license, exactly. No.
And, you know.
Or a streaming subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot. But we're saying here that lots of marketers, over half of marketers, planning to increase their investment in TV streaming in 2025.
See, I don't think that's... I think that's quite... doesn't surprise me at all that more and more people are looking for visual alternatives or visual ways of consuming stuff.
Yeah.
You know, TikTok's driven that. Instagram was, you know, set the scene for it. TikTok took it up. You know, that blip where America was suddenly off TikTok was...
It was like 12 hours, they've gone. They've come back.
I know. Do you know what? I absolutely loved all the influencers who were like just spilling their guts of all the secrets of things that they hadn't done or didn't use, and they were like, "Yeah, that's shit."
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, that was funny. And then all the Brits were like, "Right, the Americans have gone."
Yeah, hilarious.
Oh no, they're back again. Anyway.
But I do see it in, like, you know, our guys when we're teaching them. You know, they look for a video of how to do. You know, how to do one of their assignments. They had to do a blog post, and the number of them that, you know, I say Googled it, searched for it on YouTube was phenomenal. So,
oh yeah, and also, like, for example, and it's a very common behaviour, that how-to stuff. It drives YouTube a lot, I reckon.
I reckon.
But also, you know, increasingly on TikTok as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's a surprising trend, shall we say?
No, not at all.
I think that, and I would give that the sign off. As a marketeer, I would say push more of your stuff visually.
Yeah, and film, let's call it film. Because, I mean, we were talking the other time in a previous podcast about regular old TV, right? And
people still watch that. We
think, oh, everybody's just like watching YouTube and TikTok and whatnot. Oh, actually sitting on the couch and turning the television on is... Now, I went back and I checked, because I said 40% and I was misremembering the graph wrong. It was actually number of hours, and it was 4 hours a day, on average, let's say. 4 hours a day versus, and then all of the digital stuff are kind of teeny tiny on the top. We'll link to it, the actual graph. I think it was from Kantar, actually, or one of the media trackers.
Okay.
Yeah, but linear TV, very, very big still.
Yeah. I will give the sign off on that. Don't think that's surprising at all.
But I think also...
What about you? Sign off? No?
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Oh, come on.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's number 2?
So, number 2, we're talking about social media, and this says social media needs to up its game.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I've got lots of stuff to say about social media. One of them is I'm becoming increasingly frustrated about the concentration of advertising to generated content.
Yeah.
It's beginning to piss me off to the point where I'm like, do I really want to?
Yeah. It's actually very off-putting, I found.
So, yeah, what are they saying that they need to up the game about?
Quality of engagement. You know, the prevailing Ehrenberg Bass philosophy, let's say, evidence-based, obviously, is reach. Okay, it's just eyeballs. You've got to prioritise reach. Mass marketing. It was a very call to, because conversely, before all of that came out, everybody's like, right, hyper-targeting is the thing. We're going to be able to serve up a specific ad for a specific person, and that's absolutely fine. But let's not forget about all the people that aren't in market that might be in market at some point. So mass is very important. So then media kind of cottoned onto that, and they then went mass. And so obviously social media is not small anymore, is it?
No.
It's humongous
Yep.
in terms of the number of people. And so I think then a media plan would be, and caveat, hold my hands up, sorry, media planners, I'm definitely 100% not a media planner, but they have obviously prioritised reach and impressions. And as a user of social media and of TikTok, I find TikTok quite an intense experience.
It's that dopamine rush, isn't it? Of keeping scrolling. I mean, what they're saying here is that the ability to capture people's attention on an ad has dropped, which doesn't surprise me, just for the fact there's so many more ads. And also we're getting much, much quicker with seeing, when you scroll, before you had to scroll quite slowly to kind of capture what people were saying. But I don't know about you, I scroll significantly faster now than I ever did.
That's exactly what's happened, because basically every third video is an ad.
Yeah, and you're like, not watching that.
And I immediately, even though I work in advertising, sorry, but I immediately scroll past because I don't like it. Whereas actually I'm a bit slower on the actual user-generated branded posts.
Yeah.
Because actually they tend to be a bit more useful for me.
Exactly. And for me, they tend to be a little bit more creative. And that's what these guys are saying here. And they're saying in 2025, attention will need to be earned continuously and consistently, and not just with a suited for platform format.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that I don't think influencers are going to die anytime soon.
I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, we can do a whole podcast about that, influencers and authenticity, can't we?
So I reckon, again, not surprising, and gets the sign off.
For sure. I think the quality and thoughtfulness and appropriateness of ads that, it's always been, it's not just social media, it's everything. No. Be respectful of interrupting someone's space, because that's what's really going on. There's an old classic saying that the ad should be as good as the ad break should be as good as the television program. That's really what you're trying to aim for. Obviously, that some ads are, and some a lot aren't.
Do you remember when we used to have 3 channels and only one of them had?
I'll get a smoke my pipe back in the day.
But do you remember? I mean, our Super Bowl was the advert on Christmas Day between in Coronation Street. That was
I'm sorry, but I'm too southern and too middle class to have ever watched Coronation Street.
Oh my
I watched
word.
EastEnders.
Oh well, never mind.
I'm so sorry.
But I do remember there being and I must dig it up. There was a spike in the electric grid for the number of people turning the kettle on.
Yes.
So yeah, that was kind of the Super Bowl ad. Everyone remembers what was the advert between on Christmas Day.
Perfect. Well, it's common viewing experience.
It is.
So, that's going to, it's increasingly disintegrating, but, it's okay.
Yeah, it's changing, but we're still finding commonality, I think, because we like that. It's
a human trait. Yeah, we're not all just living in our own little bubbles. We like to be connected and share. Because otherwise, what the hell are we going to talk about?
That's true. I mean,
and that's a fundamental bit of human conversation and development. So.
I'm trying not to jump ahead, because one of the things that I'm not seeing, I don't think when we went through this, that I saw that I think is one of the trends that nobody's picked up on. I think there will be more face-to-face events.
Okay, lovely.
I think human. You're talking about social media interaction. I think there'll be more.
Yeah.
Human, what do they call it? The kids call it organic meeting.
Are you kidding me? Please tell me.
No.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know, I was thinking the other day, because that's what I do. too many thoughts. If, we get this kind of AI curated experience, whatever, and we're living in this, like, computers are just giving us stuff, then human interactivity will be known as something like artisan. So organic is that's it.
Yeah, I was in Elm House, and I was chatting to some of the guys from the course, and they were saying, "Oh, we've got a new girlfriend." I was like, "Oh, that's nice. Where are they from?" Blah blah blah. And they said somewhere up north, and I was like, "How did you meet?" And they went, "Oh, we met organically," and I was like, "What?" In a bar.
They met in real life.
In a bar.
That's what we say. In real life. Did you meet online or in real life?
Yeah.
So organically, that's a new term for that. Lovely.
Okay. So, sign off on that.
Organic, yeah.
Social media does need to up its game.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just so loud. And as a neurodiverse person, like, okay, firstly, I like the dopamine hit.
Yeah, we all do.
But also it is very overstimulating, and I feel like I need to lie down afterwards.
A while back I put parental guidance or stop after a certain amount of time of scrolling.
Oh, that's good.
And I used to hit it quite regularly. Now, never hit it. And I've not changed the time. I think I get fed up with it faster.
Oh, that's good, yeah. I've got, actually, one thing Apple has done, one of the many things that Apple has done very well is put the screen time function on my phone. Is that the thing that you're talking about?
Yeah, and you can put a limit on it.
Yeah, I've got 1 hour for the whole social media gamut. So basically, if I've been like, not that I doom scroll on LinkedIn, but if I scroll, sometimes I'm
you get sucked in, don't you?
and
then off you go.
Save for later, because there's interesting stuff out there that we can then, partake
Share.
to the younger
Masses.
cohort. And so I'm like, finding stuff to talk about. And often suddenly then the bloody screen time thing comes up, and I'm like, oh God, if I literally spend a whole hour just doing that.
So number 3 is safety first. Generative AI has to reassure marketeers.
Yeah, so we recorded a podcast already about AI, but we talked about it mostly in general terms. We talked about, the sort of Nobel Prize being won and how it can kind of unlock all of these interesting problems. But for day-to-day AI being used to be creative, I think there's good things and bad things, for sure.
Yeah. I think where these guys are coming from is the data transparency, where we've got it from. And I think that that's a human problem, in that we're just not interested in reading the T's and C's of who's using our third-party data, or even the first-party data, or what they're collecting.
This is technically our job, and so the real people, like, click, off you go. They don't really understand why it's happening or what is happening. Beyond this kind of conspiracy theory that, like, the phones are listening to you, which I don't know if that's actually real.
Of course they are. Siri's always listening.
And Siri's, but Siri's listening for Siri.
Is she?
That's what this is the thing. I've actually unplugged my Amazon Alexa. I don't use it anymore. No, I use my standalone UE Boom that is 10 years old, is absolutely solid as a rock, and is never going to die.
Yeah, no, they're indestructible. Yeah. I drop one in the bath, it's fine. I'm fine as well. The whole data thing and data privacy is a big nut to crack, because there is a lot of issues around who has it, who doesn't have it, and how you manipulate it, and the fact that AI can now crunch huge volumes of it, and we collect it at points that we didn't realise that people were collecting data now. And I'm sorry to be a bit doom and gloom, but it is going to bite us on our ass at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that we should be more transparent about what you're collecting. My problem is, I think marketers will try to be upstanding about it, like they are with, third-party cookie acceptance and privacy policies and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think the general public or consumers are that arsed about it and won't engage with it, because it's dull. Nobody wants to know what you've collected about me.
I'm in two minds about it. On the one hand, does it really matter? As long as it's used responsibly. And then we're seeing what's happening in terms of, I don't even really want to talk about what's happening in America right now. Yeah. In terms of these kind of, we're seeing what's happening in terms of sort of, let's just call it political instability.
Yep.
Okay. in times of political instability, aka 80 years ago plus, data is weaponized
Yep.
against people.
Look what they did with the election messaging.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Cambridge Analytica.
Cambridge Analytica,
Need
you
we say
know,
more?
I mean, that is like at the foothills, basically, of this new world that we live in. That whole ability to completely weaponize and manipulate
Yep.
and influence people into believing something that may or may not be true, and therefore absolutely influence the outcome of an election.
Facebook have now not doing fact checking.
No.
And I think you made a really, really good
Well,
point.
they're changing the way that they do community moderation.
Yeah. You made a really good point earlier about saying so long as it's used responsibly. Who says what is responsibly? And who actually sets those? Because there's a real kind of... There's the guys that are running it. And are they the ones to say? It's a private platform. Government can't be trusted because they don't know how it works. They don't know what responsibility, what the realms are. They don't know what the terms of reference are to make a decision. So who says what is responsible?
Well, then you get into moral psychology.
Yeah.
Really, which is, we have a certain amount of code of ethics, and that is dictated by the government in a way. These pop-up, going back to the whole annoying pop-up accept or decline cookie thing, that was all GDPR.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody's like, oh, GDPR, that's the thing. But actually, it's there to protect us.
Exactly.
So
I have to say, from teaching it, I roll because GDPR is rolled out for bloody everything from digital right the way around to everything.
Yeah.
And I wish students would perhaps be a little bit more focused on actually what the realms are and what it protects and what it doesn't protect, because it's not a cover-all for everything.
yeah, I mean,
And
I had to
it's
do
European
GDPR.
as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and
not
so if
global.
we've Brexited out, are we then part of that?
I know they're trying to come up with an equivalence, but
Yeah.
I'm still talking about it.
So it's a big old mess, basically. But we know from history, if you have studied history or even just talked to your grandparents, that information is weaponized against populations. So that's really what I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. So what they're saying, Kantar are saying that 36% of marketeers don't think that they or their teams have the skills to leverage AI. And I think that's not just them. I don't think it's just marketeers. I think there's a huge swathe of people and industries that don't know how to leverage AI yet.
No, and I think on the one hand, it's like an interesting little toy at the moment because it's
Love
very
playing with
new. And aside from the implications that ChatGPT uses significantly more energy than a Google search,
Yep.
it's really, really dangerous in terms of energy consumption. So we need to have actual renewable, proper energy before it really is ethical, let's say, to use. But aside from that, I was thinking about this. Yeah, art. Let's say art. I'll call it art in terms of all human creativity, right? And also science, because endeavour and intelligent endeavour, it gives us progress, right? Part of the value of art, I would say, in fact, I would say a huge significant part of the value of art, appreciation of art, is the fact that somebody else has done it. They're talented, creative, imaginative, have vision, have a particular insight into the human condition or the universe that we live in. And that's partly the value of it. I would say it was maybe 90% of the value.
I also think that some of the value is that they can do it and nobody else can produce that piece. It's unique to them, their skill, unique to the way that they do it. Because if you think even if you look at one painter versus another painter, they can date and authenticate paintings based on brushstrokes.
Yeah.
It's that unique.
Yeah.
And I think that AI is just never going to create unique?
Well, because it's not human. That's the thing. It's fun. It's literally the antithesis of human. It's made by humans because obviously we make everything. It's not made by a lion, is it? But it's, like humans are. Like, let's get all deep for a minute here. But like humans are, we don't know that anything like this exists outside of this planet.
No.
Right? We haven't actually come across alien life, despite what like the X-Files would like us to believe. But we just don't know. We don't have proof, right? So we might be the only ones. And that is a terrifying... I don't know what's more terrifying. We're not the only ones, or we are, right? And each is kind of interesting to think about. We're probably the only ones in our galaxy. And the galaxy is really large. So going off and having a chat with your neighbours might be a little bit difficult. But anyway... Let's say, right, humans, we've got these brains and we can have insight and we can have imagination. That is utterly, utterly amazing. And now we've created machines that can kind of replicate that, right? But what happens when they get better than us at doing that? Do we then value their stuff? I once saw a funny thing on TikTok. Oh, fucking hell. On TikTok of like, in the future, what will be considered like our equivalent of like racism, right? That
Oh, you think it's going to be AIism?
People being prejudiced against AI.
Probably.
So anyway, I went off on one then, didn't I? But I think
off or no?
For creativity and for craft, for helping craft. Because obviously, Pixar create beautiful, imaginative stories. Because let's be honest, we're all storytellers. Beautiful. You still haven't watched Inside Out, have you?
No.
Okay, that's on your homework. Oh my God, I cried so much. Anyway, so as a tool to aid creativity, yes. But to take over and come up with ideas.
No.
I'm sorry, but that's our job.
What do I think? I think I sign off on the fact that, we don't know what we don't know. I think that we don't have, the people that created AI are streaks ahead of us. But Joe Blogs, you and me, students, general public that are using ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever, have no idea. I think that all of us need to engage more with it. So I would sign off on us being more skilled around AI.
Yeah, we can't put it back in the box.
No.
So, we've got to use it carefully. Because let's face it, one more point about this. The creative industries have always been under pressure, really. To be an artist is not really valued in school in terms of hierarchy of subjects. If you interested in that, watch Ken Roberts' one of the most popular TED Talks about how schools crush creativity with some weird Victorian, right, let's make people for factories mentality still in our age about prioritising STEM over creative arts. Art and drama and music and all of that. And I'm not saying STEM is bad and art is good. I'm saying it should be on a level, equality for subjects, right? Because actually that never used to happen, like in sort of Newton's time, polymaths, they loved art and science. But anyway, why did I get onto that? The actual creative endeavour, the craft
is worth preserving, I think.
Absolutely. And maybe it'll be organic.
Maybe.
We'll have organic stuff and we'll have industry stuff. Battery, art.
Hope not. Okay, number 4. Sustainability and marketing must merge. As someone who has done a master's in sustainability and sustainability leadership, I'm done with it. The word annoys me. I think we've talked about it for years and years. Bear in mind, I did that course 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And the same concepts and the same decisions and the same intentions are still being talked about. And I'm a bit kind of, no shit, sailor. we either need to shit or get off the pot. I think, we can't start talking about it, keep talking about it even. And the thing that annoys me mostly is that sustainability is seen as something separate that's done separately, whereas it should be part of the way we live. And decisions should be made that if it isn't sustainable, we shouldn't do it. Because what tends to happen is, just like you pointed out, that ChatGPT uses more energy than a simple Google search. And I bet nobody knows about that when they make the decision as to use which search. So the point is, we just still keep it separate, and we don't make a decision to say, you know what, that's not a good thing to do, so we shouldn't do it because it's not sustainable. But we still do it because we go, oh, it's only that. We'll do it. We'll make it up somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I think that's what irritates me. So it says here that sustainability contributes 193 billion to the value of the world's top 100 brands.
I wonder how they measure that and what they mean.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% with you, Liz. Funnily enough, I did a similar kind of master's about the same amount of time ago.
Yeah, and it's the same old. Same old.
Still
talking about it.
And I mean, it felt to me
groundbreaking
like it
at
was,
the time.
Well, it was trendy. I mean, to want of a better word, it was on trend. As in, like, there was this groundswell of like, okay, come on, right? And have you seen this? Going back to art again. Have you seen this piece? It's very seared in my mind. It's called The World Leaders Talking About Climate Change. And it's basically water and then like heads of people standing around having a meeting, and it's like covered up to there. And it's absolutely profound.
Yeah.
I find. And that's what's happening because...
Let's be honest, it should be under their nose by now.
Well, yeah, I don't know how old that art piece is. I think it might be 10 years old. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get all existential, but it's a massive... This is like the existential crisis of our time. And, we're busy fighting amongst ourselves, essentially, not to denigrate all the horrendous things that are going on in this world. But, it's a real problem because we're killing our home.
Yeah.
And we ain't got another one, mates.
Exactly.
As much as, the person wants to go to Mars. I can't even say his name anymore. He's upset me so much. Mars is not
a solution. You're just moving the problem.
Our home is built for us. It's not built for us. We grew into our home. Like...
Yeah.
It's like if you contracted the world's most expensive architect to make a planet for the human race, this is what it would be.
So sustainability and marketing must merge. I don't think it's sustainability and marketing. I think we all need to take sustainability more seriously in terms of the way it shapes our decisions and not to cast it aside. And I think that as marketeers, we craft the narrative, etc. I think it's bigger than us. So I'm giving the sign off because, we should do it. It's a no-brainer. But I think it's not just marketing responsibility. I think it's as a business, we all need to stick together and actually make better decisions around sustainability.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right thing to do, isn't it? It's the right thing for a selfish reason. But, I mean... I've always found it absolutely baffling that we've got an economic system that has externalised impact on society and planet. And the profit, above all else, is what drives everything. Okay? And that's why sustainability is seen as like this added extra. Let's try and be nice for like... brand purposes, and therefore people will buy more of our products because we need to make the money, right? And so how do we change that?
It's massive.
Because also marketing
that makes the point, doesn't it? It can't just be marketing.
Of course, because marketing, unfortunately, is the least taken. If you have like a list of all the C's in the C-suite, like marketing's at the bottom in terms of who gets taken seriously.
And also, not every C-suite has a marketeer in it.
Well, exactly, yeah. So, marketing is mostly seen as this like magical sprinkle dust that you can kind of separate out from the product. It's not. It's 100% interlinked. And, you know, bang on about the 4 Ps. Like, at the moment, most marketing departments do 1P.
Yeah.
We do the promotion.
Yeah.
We make the pictures.
So I'm assuming you're signing off on that one as well.
Of course I am. But I'm not signing off just for marketing. It's not our bloody job to do it. It's the actual C-suite business, like government, the whole effing structure that we have. Like, we can't kill our planet, guys, because you're going to kill everyone.
Yep.
Or except the effing billionaires that will blast off into space. Well, bye. We're just left to die or starve. I've seen Interstellar, and it's like, it could be a fucking documentary.
I've not seen it.
Oh my
I'll watch
God.
it tonight.
Okay, right. Your reading list is
Yeah. In and Out, or whatever it's called.
Inside Out and Interstellar.
Right.
Tears both times.
Amazing.
I had tears. You don't feel the pressure to have tears. You can be stony-hearted.
Okay, so number 6, Kantar points out that woke and definitely not broke, which is interesting given if you want to have a look at the Jaguar episode. We weren't particularly, go and have a look. So Kantar is saying that inclusion is imperative.
Oh.
Yeah. 8 in 10 people worldwide are influenced by diversity and inclusion in their buying decisions.
Okay, so I might question the methodology behind that. If you basically ask anybody with a heart to say...
Yeah, phraseology matters everything in the way they question that.
Yeah. Do you like brands who represent, you know, more people?
Or are utter bastards.
Yeah, or like monogrammatic. Yeah, of course. I mean, most people will say that, but actually when you're standing in the supermarket, tired, you've got kids screaming at you, and you're looking at the blooming, you know, what mayonnaise to buy, like, what are you going to buy?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes, because the backlash was harsh. Harsh, and I don't know whether it's tempered. And I also think that there are some creative agencies doing a really lovely job with making inclusion look inclusive and not a tick box exercise. So some people are doing it really, really well and lovely, and other people are just making a hash of it.
It's a real challenge because the purpose of advertising is to be engaging to as many people as possible, right? You've got to reach as many people as possible in your target, whoever wants to buy your brand, right? And whoever might be influenced into buying a brand, right? It's very basic. And so you just got to be appealing.
Yeah.
You got to make people like you. And one way is to be funny or engaging or emotional, or you got to get people to notice you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I worked through the wave of, right, okay, casting briefs, okay? And there's a difference between, you know, having a brand where we're like, right, we needed someone in a wheelchair, to actually being a brand that is accessible for disabled people.
Yes.
Okay? So, you know, there's I don't know.
It's execution again, isn't it? It's how you do it, not what you're doing. It's like, yeah. So
it's why you're doing it. That's the thing. You've got to really be mindful about why are you doing this? Are you doing it in a performative way to try and make people like you more and therefore sell more product? Or are you actually helping these marginalised communities, let's say? Right. You know, what's your HR policy for, well, you know, luckily we have an Equality Act, I should say.
So I would sign off and say, yes, definitely, but let's have more of the good stuff and less of the performative stuff.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
What are you looking forward to in 2025, Liz?
So I'm looking forward to more of the smart, witty, funny. I mean, today's Cadbury on-pack, chef's kiss, nicely done. I'm looking for more of that, less preachy, more funny, more engaging, more upbeat. I think 2024 was a traumatic year, and I'm now looking for some happy, hopeful stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for marketeers to be creative, innovative, witty, you know, the best of the best, the good stuff that we did see.
Yeah. I'm with you. Do you know what? I was thinking about, okay, what are my favourite campaigns at the moment? And I absolutely love Yorkshire Tea. They've just brought out a new ad. Have you seen it?
Yep, very cool.
So good. But they are, I mean, okay, that's a little case study. Tea is like a category that didn't move.
No.
It's always a flat lines, right? But Yorkshire Tea went from like 4 to 1. It was like 15% to 40% because of that. And this is power of consistency. And what I was saying earlier about like we like new, but we also like familiarity.
Yeah.
You know, that is new and familiarity because it's consistent. It's about Yorkshire, proper tea. You've got the Kaiser cheese. You've got Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, lovely.
Sean Bean. I mean, it's amazing. And they can go and go with that, and they will. I hope so.
But yes, so that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, good times, funny, creative advertising, and you know,
Witty.
the organic kind.
Yeah.
That's going to be my new word now.
I'm not a fan of the whole slapstick funny, but I do like the witty funny, the variations on a theme. I love it when brands riff off each other and create something new. That's what I'm looking for. I'm also looking for influencers to step up their game. They've fallen into this hole of just an advertising channel. But I want them to go back to their usual witty content. There's some people out there absolutely nailing it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see more of that.
Lovely. All right,
folks, that's us.
Thanks for listening. I think we'll have our, talking about brands riffing off each other, we'll have our Pepsi versus Cola.
That goes out tomorrow.
That goes out, so you will have seen that, hopefully.
Yep.
And I hope you enjoyed our little deep dive into that campaign and their new funny ad.
And we'd love to know if you like more of those deep dives.
Oh, yes, please tell us what you want.
Cool. All right, guys, have a fantastic week. And that's it from me, Liz Hawkins, from The Sign Off.
And I'm Lydia Jones, signing off. See you next time.
Well, Lydia, that's another fine podcast in the bag. I hope you enjoyed the chip chat and found something useful.
Follow us on socials at The Sign Off Podcast, where a new episode is out every 2 weeks. Send us your questions or comments to signoffpodcast@gmail.com.
See you next time.